Welcome to the Tom Bernard Podcast with
Melissa Bernard,
Michael Bryant,
Kristen Burt. Andy, you didn't say your name.
I suppose I didn't. Well, he usually doesn't when he does the intro because it goes without saying. But then again, it's not called the Andy Bernard Show, so maybe it doesn't go without saying. I'm Andy Bernard, and I'll be hosting in lieu of Tom today. We put together a nice Friday show because people wanted to be on. Tim wanted to be on, and I think Mike wanted to talk to Tim about some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I wanted to talk to a real entertainment reporter.
Yes, that's right. Not these fake ones. It's
As
also a
opposed to
nice
me?
excuse. I think so. It's also a nice excuse for Melissa to get out of the house for once.
I heard you left the kids home with Mountain Dew and bats.
And that's
Yep.
what I told Mike.
Yep.
So they've got their tub of Mountain Dew. They'll be all right.
I don't think anyone wants to see Ethan on Mountain Dew. I sure
No,
don't.
he has never had.
Oh.
It's going to be a long time until he does.
Yeah.
Like the kids
Yeah.
on Ricky Bobby.
Yep, exactly. I don't know. But, I mean, we do have Kristen with us with the entertainment report, and it is New Year's, so New Year, new bunch of horrible things happening in the entertainment world, I'm assuming.
Well, the good news is that it's very quiet in the entertainment industry.
There you
So we don't have an opportunity yet for all of the bad news to come through. I think one of the biggest things that I watched over like the last week or so was everybody saying MTV shutting down, and everyone
Yeah.
did like their little RIP. And I was like, how did this is like a story that like people only read the headlines and then didn't realize what was happening. MTV's still here. So if anyone thought that was the end of their childhood, and this news was announced in October. So overseas, MTV UK, I think Australia, like some of the other MTV outlets shut down all of their music channels. So the channels that were playing 24/7 music videos.
Oh, I can't believe
shut
those people up, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're still here in the U.S., by the way. So they still exist here in the U.S. So they shut down operations over in the U.K. But if you have MTV and you're in the U.K., you still have MTV, the one where you can watch all the reality shows like The Challenge and Teen Mom and all of that. That still exists as well. But the reason that they shut down some of the additional channels overseas was completely due to the merger with Paramount and Skydance. And we will see what happens with MTV in the future. It is reported, and this is actually good news from David Ellison, because I feel like every time I talk about David Ellison and taking over Paramount, it's bad news. He is looking to somehow revive MTV in the music space so that it will be a competitor, a direct competitor to Spotify and YouTube. So there could be some interesting things coming up in the future, depending on what he does with it, because MTV has become just a wasteland of unscripted shows.
Yep. I never watched MTV like my entire life. I've never really cared for it. If MTV shut down, I would feel nothing.
Well, so, boy, it's had some major things, but I guess a lot.
Well, no, like Beavis and Butthead started on MTV, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Daria was MTV. I mean, like,
Daria.
it definitely had some like shows that I'm aware of and I've seen, but like, I don't know.
Well,
Well,
what was that original Big Brother show that they had? What was that? Road Rules? And
Real World.
Yeah.
Real World, yep.
Real World. And I think too, just to remember that a lot of Gen X will have probably more fond memories than millennials, but millennials actually grew up when TRL was like the hot thing.
Yeah, Total Request Live.
Carson Daly. And I will tell you that I was living in New York when TRL was running, and it was so exciting every single day to like, if you had to go through Times Square, people would stand in the middle of Times Square. And it's one of the reasons that they wound up, blocking off Times Square and making it a more pedestrian friendly area, because kids were just standing on an island, like looking up in those windows to see Britney Spears or NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. And it was actually kind of fun just to watch it, because you just saw an element of the city that was really alive every single day at 3 p.m.
Yeah, the only thing I ever watched was Pop-Up Video on VH1. So,
Oh, that was fun too. I've loved pop-up video.
that was actually my
Pop-up
ringtone for quite some time. Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You liked it because it had like all these little factoids, which I
Yep.
think is totally right up your alley.
That was my thing. The little factoids. They'd play like In Sync, and they'd be like, "Oh, In Sync was formed in this year," and I'd be like, "Fascinating."
Well, I was in college. That's when MTV started. So I remember it when it very first started. And then there was
When did they start?
1981.
81.
81. Okay.
And there was a show on Friday nights that was like called Friday Night Hits or something. And that's
Headbangers Ball.
yeah, where you'd get those videos. Well, that was on MTV, but there's something before MTV that was on Friday nights that that kind of was like a mini version of MTV for like an hour or 2 hours every Friday night.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it was a time though. I mean, like music videos. And I don't think, unless you were alive during that time and like watching it unfold in real time, like the thriller effect, was unbelievable. People would, because remember, you had like a VCR, but you would have to actually, it was hard to program. You would actually have to press the record button, and people would race home from school, and MTV would say, Thriller is playing in 15 minutes. Now, kids today wouldn't understand that, but it was such a phenomenon. I mean, it's unbelievable, like living through those times and what that actually meant to me. The music industry was just so huge in that moment.
Well, you don't have cell phones, you don't have YouTube, you don't have like all the things now. It's just like, I'll just pull it up right at the moment, I
remember I had friends who they had those programmable VCRs. So they put in a blank tape and they'd program it to start recording at like, 2 p.m. or whatever while they were still in school. And then they'd come home and they'd watch the tape that got recorded automatically. And I was like, wow, that is some Star Trek stuff right there.
Yeah, and you'd have to record like a buffer before and a buffer after, because you just don't know whether it's going to be at the exact time that you expect.
Yep.
Well, we had to do that with TiVo too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember TiVo, like...
We used so much TiVo.
When we would always set it for at least 1 minute before and after, because the show, if a commercial during the show went a little bit too long or something, you had to have a buffer at the end.
Well, yeah, all the programming was like, the program directors were putting those on manually at the time slots, so it's like, it wasn't all automated to the point where it's, it's 10:30, that's exactly when the show starts. It's...
Yeah.
Because, TV used to be a lot more organic than it is.
Well, you get routinely half an hour shows that would end up 2-3 minutes longer. So if you didn't right, you'd lose the end of it.
Yep. Yeah, I remember sometimes watching TiVo shows, and it was like one of those very special episodes or whatever where they had a little extra, or they had too long of a commercial break, and it would just cut off the end, and I'd be like, well, I guess I don't know how that ends.
Yeah, they would.
I was going to say they supersized a lot of like the Friends episodes, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember
Trevor,
that.
I would set it up to record Dragon Ball Z. Yep, Dragon Ball Z.
Yep.
I actually miss TiVo. I'm not going to lie. That was kind of when I had DirecTV with TiVo was kind of my favorite era. Because I would just go home and all of these things were just recorded for me, and I'd just like go down my list and watch my, watch whatever I had recorded.
Yeah.
And now I feel like there's almost, because there's so much and we have, 1,000 different subscriptions, I'm like, I got to go find something, or I have to have like a running written list of like, oh, I need to catch up on this show, or hey, I should check, someone told me to watch this show. It's nuts.
Oh, yeah. My thing for a long time is I would just have it recording like Friends, Frasier, The Simpsons, and Family Guy.
Yeah.
And every week or whatever, I'd sit down at the TV and I just watch. And I would set it to, it was like on syndication at that point, a lot of these shows. So it would just record random episodes from random seasons. And I would just sit down and watch just the most random stuff, not even in chronological order or anything. And it was just like, oh, what do we got today?
My favorite New Year's Eve, I went out to dinner with friends and I was like, I think I'm starting to feel sick. You feel like that fever's coming on, you're getting really flushed. So I'm like, I'm going to go home. And I had recorded like all of Sex and the City, and I spent the entire night, because we had gone out really early to dinner and then we were going to some party or something. So I wound up home at about like 7 p.m. and watched Sex and the City until like the new year rang in. And it was my favorite one because I'm like, TiVo was there for me every minute. It was perfect.
Do you remember what season was that?
It was one of the last seasons of Sex in the City. So I'm trying to remember. I feel like that show wrapped somewhere around 2004. So maybe it was like 2003 into 2004 because I think I had a season to catch up on.
Yes, it did in fact wrap in 2004. Was that long ago? 21 years ago? Almost 22 actually, February. So,
but it still feels part of the zeitgeist because we had a couple of the movies, and then we had that really bad revival with And Just Like That. So yeah. So it's been at least in the pop culture realm over the past few years.
So did you watch Mayor Kingstown at all?
I have not.
That was season 4 just wrapped last week, and it's by far their very best season. It was incredible.
That's good.
It was an incredible season. I mean, they were hitting on all cylinders. Renner was all healthy again, and there was not a single how there's always that one episode that you think you didn't need this or this is all fluff, or they do music videos throughout it, which I hate when they extend the series by throwing in 3 or 4 music videos into it.
Music videos.
Yeah, it's like
montage.
Yeah, the most recent one was the one that Cena's in, where's the Patriot or the superhero. What's that one called? I can't think of what it's called, but it's
John Cena as a superhero.
As a superhero, yeah. It's a DC hero, I think.
Peacemaker.
That's right. They every once in a while just throw in a random video or a random song that just it's
that was the 80s movies device. They'd always do.
Yeah.
And they would just kind of they would try to move the plot along of okay, we're gonna do this project, and then they're show everyone working on the project, and then you get to the other
house montage was every single 80s movie.
And then you get to the other side.
They do that a lot with the DC shows because remember
the Flash
when we were watching The Flash, they did that all the time.
Yep, that's why we stopped watching.
Randomly, there would be a montage of everything that's happened, and it's got the music in the background. And then they started pairing up with all the other DC.
Yeah, it got really jarring.
It just got
we'd be watching an episode where everyone is there's some minor threat in town, Mr. Speedy Man is breaking everything. And they're like, okay, we got to fight Mr. Speedy Man. And then we come back next week and it's all of a sudden the Galaxy Eater is in town and he's going to destroy every reality except for this one unless we get the Chaos Emeralds. And it's when the hell did all this happen?
Yeah.
It became impossible to follow, and we just
because
stopped
they made
caring.
it so that you had to watch Arrow and Supergirl and all, and it's I'm not gonna go. No, I'm not gonna do that.
No, it's just you'd have to dedicate your entire life to watching all of the crap going on behind the scenes, and it's just I just want to watch The Flash.
That's how they burnt the audience out too, with all of the Marvel films and DC, everything. Because you would have to watch the movie, you'd have to go to the theater and watch the movie, and then you have to come back and watch the TV show. And I'm it became impossible for people to follow everything.
Yeah, they wanted it to be like a lifestyle almost, like you're the DC lifestyle or you're the MCU. It's it's your thing, it's what you do. But I don't know. I get it if there's one big movie you have to follow every 6 months or something like that. But when it's 4 concurrent TV shows plus another movie every month, just you're going to get burnt out in no time unless you're 10 years old.
Yeah.
You have an infinite appetite for that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of set up under the comic book model where they would run a joint series, and then you had to read the individual parts of it to understand some of the background on these things. But
at least with comics, you can just you can read a page. It's bedtime. Your family's had dinner. Mom says go to bed. You read a couple pages before you fall asleep. When it's like a movie, you just kind of have to watch the movie. And there's 2 hours of your time.
Yeah, or get through a whole series just so that you're in the same timeline that you started in.
Yeah, it's I don't care about Arrow at all.
No.
So it's I basically you're giving me homework. You're okay, go watch this season of stuff that you don't care about so you can understand the thing you do care about better.
Or you have to watch the teasers after the movie credits in order to know what the next time jump is.
Yep.
Is there a new Avengers movie coming out this year?
There was. I was I can't even. I was and they keep on moving. They've been shifting a lot of the timelines. Let me see.
Is it still the same timeline as the MCU? Have they done any reality jumps or anything like that yet?
Avengers Doomsday is scheduled for release December 18th, 2026. Okay, and it features Robert Downey Jr. returning as Iron Man. So Doctor Doom. Sorry, he's Doctor Doom now. I'm like, not Iron Man. And then Chris Evans is Steve Rogers, setting up the massive conflict leading to Secret Wars.
Wait, Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom now?
Yes.
He is Iron Man in an alternate universe where he becomes Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Because of course.
I missed that jump over, and I don't even think that was in the comic book that way. But
I don't know.
I can't keep up with them.
Robert Downey Jr.'s money was running out, I guess, and he needed a little infusion of like the Marvel universe, some extra funds as they back up the Brinks truck.
This is another thing about the MCU that I don't love is, okay, I'm not going to read the full names of everyone because it would take literally all day. The movie features an ensemble cast including, and I'm just going to say the first names of each of these people, and I'm only going to do half of them. Chris, Vanessa, Anthony, Sebastian, Letitia, Paul, Wyatt, Tenek? Is it Tenek? Tenek Huerta Mejia? I don't know who that is. Liu, Florence, Kelsey, Lewis, Danny, Joseph, David, and it keeps going on for quite some time. It's like, it's too much for me to care about.
Yeah.
If I know about a third of them once you just by the first name.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like, I don't know, if I'm seeing Iron Man, I'm there to see Iron Man. I'm not there to see his 27 friends from the other movies. I don't know.
That's exactly it. I had fun for a while there with Marvel, to be honest, and I'm not someone who loves superheroes. And then I got burnt out very early just because it's not my genre. But I was like, people are going to get burnt out, and sure enough, they certainly did. And we have seen that box office get lower and lower and lower with each one, and it makes me question. Unfortunately, Disney plans, so many years out that a lot of these movies are already, in the pipeline. But at what point do they go, okay, we're only going to do like one Marvel film like every 3 years, not one or two every year?
Well, that's why I can't believe they haven't done a reboot yet. Just like a reboot of the universe and smalled it down so new fans can care. Because like, imagine being 16 years old and being told, oh, you got to watch this new movie, The Avengers Doomsday. And you're watching it, and it's like every 45 seconds they bring on this new character, and everyone in the theater is clapping and cheering. It's like, I don't know who any of these people are. Like, I have a hard enough time learning the names of characters in a show that has like 5 characters in it. And I'm expected to all of a sudden know about all these people.
And the actors themselves too. And Robert Downey Jr. is 60. I don't think that is old personally. But if you tell someone who is Gen Z or Gen A, and you're like, you need to go back and watch Iron Man, and you're like, all they're thinking in their head is like, this is an old person. And it's the last like big movie stars really came out of the 1990s, and we're at a place now where we just don't really have movie stars anymore, and it's hard for people to carry movies because people care less about celebrity now too. And you can go, well, Timothée Chalamet is a big movie star. Well, he's a big movie star, but if he had been a movie star this big in the 90s, he'd be like a C-list actor right now. Because we had the Tom Cruises. There's just so many different the perspective is so different. So I think to even reboot Marvel and start at the beginning, you're going to have to make sure that Gen A and Gen Z care about making these people movie stars to come back to every film.
You also, with reboots, you got to watch, like, these are based upon stories that actually were comic books. And
you got an itchy shoulder there, Mike?
Yeah, you can you can get things like a reboot on Superman and retell the story, which is fine. But a whole thing, you either have to create a brand new story or reboot back to the original story, which is what they did with the Fantastic Four. And half those movies were horrible. The new one's actually pretty good.
Yeah, like the whole Infinity Stones arc, that was just like one arc that happened.
Yep.
And it's like, you can't redo the Infinity Stones arc because otherwise you're just making the same movies over and over. They'd have to find a different arc. And there's a billion of them. I never read comics. I never cared about superheroes, but I am the kind of person who will just like read the X-Men Wikipedia article and go to the X-Men wiki and read their articles just because that's what I like to do. Mm-hmm. So I know stuff about this kind of thing. And they could mine that sort of thing for content for literally ever and ever. because comics were huge for what, 50, 60 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not like they're going to be low on stories to tell.
And for our generation, me and my generation, the transition of seeing those comics in movies now is so cool. I mean, there's a really like advancement there that you never thought you'd see, because the Hulks and the Spider-Mans that they tried to do during our time, they were horrible. I mean, you see the string and now they're actually, they're really cool stories. I mean, Loki has been an incredible character. A lot of them have been really good characters.
Yeah.
What, you don't think Adam West Batman was peak?
No.
How? Wow.
They were literally just like, you could tell that they were literally like,
they're standing on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
But
They
even
didn't even
going,
read the script before they came in studio. They were just like handed the script, like, okay, here's your line, say it in 30 seconds. And they're like, sure, whatever.
but even Christopher Reeve's Superman, which was considered revolutionary at the time when it came out, you look at it now and it looks absolutely primitive, and you're like, oh, look at, he's just like literally like laying on a table with everything's green screen. They have him
They just
flying.
chroma key the table out and it looks like he's flying.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yep.
I agree with Trevor though. The first Avengers movie was by far the best, I think, Marvel movie that they.
Well, I think
produced.
most people would agree there. Yeah.
I mean, that was just
It was
so
exciting.
The Age of Ultron was really good also, which I think was the second or the third one. That was really good. And then for it's DC, but the Batman with Christian Bale, those three movies are awesome movies.
Well, yeah,
People still
they're
talk
incredible.
about those, yeah, with the Heath Ledger Joker and all that, and Bane. Yeah.
What Hardy was Bane, and those are great movies.
Although I'm a Michael Keaton diehard, though. I love him as Batman.
That's what I grew up with. Yep, absolutely.
That's true. That's true.
He's not Christian Bale. He didn't go up the mountain and do the work.
I love Michael Keaton. I love everything he's in. He's such a good actor.
He's Beetlejuice in my eyes. So
I mean, if you compare him to like a George Clooney, it's just no comparison.
Well, or me, or Affleck, or there's been other ones that
They just don't hit.
Oh no, Batman and Robin was pretty good because it was just so dumb. It was very campy and comic-y, which I appreciated.
Yep.
No. That's the thing about the new, well, I say new, they're like 20 years old at this point, like Batman Begins and all that. They're just so dark and gritty, and it's like, I get Batman is a dark and gritty character, but there's still some room for levity, isn't there?
Well, yeah, maybe.
I think dark humor for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe not so much with I don't know, Joker pretends to help Batman up, but actually shocks him with one of those palm buzzer things. Maybe that's a little too dumb, but still.
Right.
I don't know. I always like the little bit of the sarcastic dark humor when they add it in. And they do that a lot in Marvel films too. You'll like see it coming. And I think that's what to me made Iron Man so appealing. Robert Downey Jr. is so good with the sarcasm. He nails it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we expecting this to be the last Avengers movie? Because I kind of am.
I don't know how their timelines. I don't know. They had at one point, didn't they have like a giant monster timeline with all these different tie-in movies?
Oh yeah, they sure do.
Yeah.
We've looked at it before.
Well,
we
it's
were
like
going to do all of them, and then
we watched all of them from. We started with What was the first one? Iron Man, I think, or was it
Iron
Spider?
Man? Iron Man.
Yep.
And by the way, Doomsday. There's 2 Avengers movies coming out. So Doomsday comes out December 2026 and Avengers Secret Wars comes out December 2027, which will conclude the multiverse saga and bring major characters back like Doctor Doom. So
well, there you go. So I guess we got 2 more years of
and
Avengers.
then they'll start from the beginning again.
Yeah, they can do all sorts of things, like I said.
But they can definitely, I think if they do start from the beginning again, it's going to be more tempered, not just like vomiting up Marvel Universe the way they did for a few years there.
Yep. Is what's his name from Landman and Mayor Kingstown, Sheridan? Is he involved in these?
Taylor Sheridan? I don't think so. I think it's the
because Wheaton's gone, I think.
Avengers Doomsday is, they just said, yeah, the Russo brothers are directing it.
Russo brothers, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's probably in post production at this point because it's going to take a year for special effects and everything else. So,
yeah,
it's kind of crazy because how much has AI quickened that process?
You know, my friend works, you know, for a VFX company, and you know they've been using AI for a long time and making everyone look skinny or smoothing everyone's wrinkles out because they do it for every film and every music video these days. And it's still it's fast, but it's not because they'll do the work quicker than they used to. But then it has to go through, like the studio has to look at it, and then the artist who requested that their you know acne spots were removed, they have to look at it, and then it goes back to the VFX house, and then they it probably goes through about 3 rounds in total. So it's still slow, but it's more slow on the human end because of who needs to check off, say, hey, okay, this is approved.
Because cartoons used to take a year and a half, Andy, when they
ages. I mean, well, they'd have to hand draw every single cell of animation, and I mean, it would literally take ages and ages.
I would love it when they put I think they still do all the Pixar babies that were born during the making of the film.
We actually just watched Cars a couple days ago.
Cars 2, yeah.
Well, we didn't finish Cars 2.
Yeah.
We didn't finish Cars 2 because the kids were instead running around and jumping around and yelling, and it's like, you're not watching this movie even. But we watched Cars because Colin's new favorite song is Real Gone from the beginning of Cars. Mm-hmm. You put that on and he just like starts dancing.
It's very cute.
So we put Cars on for him, and then at the end of Cars, I mean, not that that's a new movie, but they were doing the production baby thing, and there's like 50 of them because it takes so long to make these movies.
Yeah. It does. Yeah, I used to always love I'm like, we have to stay at least for the production babies. Mm-hmm. It's so cute.
We're not the next movie that we're going to watch, I think, is Super Mario Galaxy.
Probably, yeah.
We think. It's hard to say because Ethan is at that age where he is getting scared of things. Really? So, Melissa was actually talking about this on the way in. He watched the first Super Mario movie, and by first, I mean the first 3D one, not the John Leguizamo weird Goomba one.
From a million years ago.
Yes, from the 90s or maybe even 80s. But he watched that first Mario movie like 10 times. And then one day he just decided he didn't want to watch it anymore because Bowser was scary. And it's a weird thing to say about a movie you've seen 10 times and you know how everything ends. Yeah. And you probably have every single line of dialogue memorized, but now all of a sudden it's scary. And so, I mean, the second one, it could be, he might not even be interested because it's just too much for him. And he was like that with the Sonic movie. He liked Sonic, and then he watched Sonic 2 and he liked it, but then he had nightmares. So we didn't let him watch Sonic 2 ever again.
Oh.
Or Sonic 3. So with kids, you never really know.
Nope.
He was only 3, so I was too young for that.
He was too young for it.
But he did like the first one. And the first Sonic movie was, funny. It had a lot of humor.
Yeah, so didn't really have anything.
And it wasn't really that scary.
Well, but the part that he was scared of from Sonic 2 wasn't even a scary part. It was, drowning is a pretty terrifying concept, I guess I'd say. Yeah. But he wasn't even afraid of the drowning. So if you've played the Sonic games, part of them is you're underwater and there's these like bubbles that come up and you have to touch them to refill your air.
Right.
And they did like a riff on that in the movie. He was underwater and he saw a bubble and he went like this and he breathed it in. Mm-hmm. And Ethan had a nightmare about that because he interpreted it as the bubble like went into Sonic to hurt him. Mm. So he wasn't even scared of something he was supposed to be scared of. He was scared of something he like made up in his head.
Yeah.
Has he seen Zootopia 2?
Not yet.
No, that's right. It's I keep forgetting it's out.
Yeah.
We watched the first one. Did he watch the first one with us?
Yeah. It took him a while to get into. He's interesting. A lot of animal movies, he doesn't seem to want. Like we had tried for months to get him to watch Secret Life of Pets because we were like, this is totally up your alley. It's funny.
It's cute.
You would love it. It's cute. It's just dogs, whatever. But no, he's just like, I don't know what it is about animals.
Yeah.
Movies. He loves Bluey. He loves all the animal shows, but he's weird about them. I don't know. So it takes a long time to convince him to watch animal movies.
Yep, sure does. I don't know why. But he loved it. I have a video of him laughing his ass off at the beginning of Secret Life of Pets.
Oh, gosh, it was funny. And we were like, see? We told you you'd love this
Why didn't you listen? By the way, Bluey was the #1 show on streaming in 2025.
Yep.
It was the year before, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
It was the #1 watched show.
Yep.
And number 2 was Grey's Anatomy on Hulu.
Huh.
That is super weird.
You know what? That to me is a sign, honestly, to studios that like you need to be doing shows that have 22 episodes or at least 15 a year because people are asking for longer seasons.
Or big blue dogs that are surgeons.
Or big blue dogs or children's programming. I mean, that's really really the answer to that.
Yeah.
So quick before you have to go, because we got Tim waiting for us. Someone wants to know if you are going to see The Devil Wears Prada 2.
Of course I am. That's like, you already knew the answer to that. Of course I am.
I'm going to go to a Red Sox game.
What?
Just same value as.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I was like Meryl Streep, Emily Blunt, Anne Hathaway, Stanley Tucci. I'm there.
But of course.
But of
All
course.
right, so we'll see you on Monday with the whole family back.
Not the skeleton crew, though, holding it up over the holidays.
Yeah, I figured I got a email of appreciation for doing a show on Monday, so it tells you that it's worth doing.
It honestly is, because I've been listening to all my other podcasts are all like recaps of 2025, and I'm like, I want something new.
Yep, I know. Well, and a lot of shows in town like aren't on.
Yeah.
People just took off like the entire week, last week and this week.
Yeah.
Even radio stations are off.
Yeah.
A lot of radios.
Talking about, because your dad used to always take that off on KQ. But KQ used to always leave like Brittany and Ray and some of those other people would stay there. So they'd still run somewhat of a show a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of best of stuff, but they'd also
Fridays.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kristen, we'll see you on Monday.
Yes, and Margaret's like, we didn't get a chance to talk about the series finale of Stranger Things. We'll do it on Monday, Margaret, I promise.
Oh, we can talk Stranger. Oh,
that way it gives some people some time to watch it, because I'm not sure if everyone has seen it. So.
Oh, yeah.
We watched it last night in our house. So. All right.
I'm still on season 1, so.
You're so close. You have 10 years.
Right. Yeah.
I watched most of season 1 and I was just like, I don't know.
It's a good show. All right, you guys. Well, Happy New Year, and I'll see you all on Monday.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Bye.
All right, we'll take our first break, and then we'll have Tim with us after that.
From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Allie?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands-free, but you can't have your phone in your hands for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget. And now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB, something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
Let's talk about Tom's Bank, North American Banking Company. Look, it's easy to feel like just another account number at the big national banks, but that's not how it works with my friends at North American Banking Company. Whether you're visiting their locations in Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, or Maple Grove, you'll always find real people who know you by name and actually care about your finances, not some AI chatbot. They also offer all the modern conveniences you expect, like online and mobile banking, but with a personal touch that only a community bank can offer. So, why settle for less when you can bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Visit nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We return with Tim and Mike and Melissa and me.
Tim, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Mike. Hi, Melissa, Andy. Happy New Year.
Yep. First show of the new year.
Yep.
There we go. That's my Dick Clark New Year's Rockin' Eve impersonation, I guess. Yeah, boy, it's gone fast. And here we are in 2026. Of course, I'm brought to you by the guy sitting right there.
Yep. Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury
How
attorneys.
often is it the guy that's right there? He brings me to him. Whatever. I tried to attempt to figure that out last time, but Happy New Year, everybody. And, I've just kept on going through New Year's, watching movies and stuff and coming up with my top picks for 2025. And I won't go into depth with them, but probably my favorites of the year include Sinners. Hopefully you've seen some of these. Sinners is streaming on HBO Max.
Yep.
F1, the movie, is streaming on Apple TV. Nuremberg, which I talked about last week, is actually now on premium video on demand, so you can rent or buy that anywhere. But the number one movie for me, as you could probably guess, is this one, Frankenstein. Even though Tommy hated it. Now, did anybody watch it? Did you see it, Mike or Melissa or Andy? Did you watch this on Netflix yet?
We don't watch movies really, unless they're kids' movies.
We don't watch new movies.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, yeah, and that was the big advantage for my kids growing up, is that I would take them to as many movies as I could. So even though I'm busy working, it's like part of my work could get their perspective on things and really honestly would help me with reviews of those movies, because all of a sudden you're seeing, what jaded self I became. I could see the movies through their eyes, and it made a big difference as far as reviewing those films. But now, of course, they're in their 20s and 30s, so they don't want to go to movies anymore because I movied them out when they were all younger.
I'm kind of the same way. We used to go to movies all the time, and eventually, once I was like in my mid-20s, I was just like, I don't know, I'm good. I've seen all the movies.
Well, you certainly, if you look at the past year or what's coming up in 2026, it's like, yeah, you have seen them. You've seen them again and again. Yeah. And honestly, I did a thing on Forbes for the 26 movies to look forward to in 2026. And yes, the majority of them are either remakes, reboots, retellings, whatever you want to call them. There's just very, very few original films out, and it's like, when is Hollywood gonna get this? When are they gonna get the memo that you can't be putting out the same thing?
What's being redone this next year, Tim?
Well, as far as this was a character on was it on TV? Remember Supergirl?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Was that a TV? I know Helen Slater. I think actually that was a movie. Yeah. So obviously James Gunn introduced us to Supergirl at the end of the new Superman, which I enjoyed. I mean, I didn't think it was, it wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't bad either. I love superhero stuff, but obviously it's going to be a different take than the Helen Slater version when Christopher Reeve was around way back when. I mean, you got a snippet of the party girl coming in, crashing the party at the end of Superman. And, that worked for that cameo, but are we going to want to put up with 2 hours of that?
Yeah.
No, from what I understand, so Supergirl, the TV show, was like its own thing. It wasn't based on anything, I think. I never watched it. I never cared to watch it, but that's what I understand. The Supergirl movie that we're going to get is based on the Supergirl comic. Right. And so in that comic, like I said, I like to, read up on things even if I don't care about them because I'm just weird like that. In the Supergirl comic, Supergirl is actually older than Superman, but she was put in like cryostasis or something.
Yep.
And she has major PTSD from seeing Krypton get blown up. Whereas Superman was a baby, so he doesn't remember Krypton at all. Supergirl does. And so her thing is, what she does is she's a Kryptonian, so she comes to Earth. She sees the yellow sun and she can fly and be invincible and all that stuff. So what she does is she tries to drown her sorrow. She's got PTSD, so she becomes an alcoholic. But her superpowers make it so she can't actually get drunk because she metabolizes it so quickly. So what she does is she flies to other solar systems that don't have a yellow sun, which depowers her so she can get drunk.
Which is the case at the end of the last.
Exactly. And then she comes back to Earth and she's all trashed and she's like, belligerent and weird. So it's not like the Supergirl TV show where it's like, truth, justice, and the American way, but female. It's like she's kind of the opposite of Superman, where he's Mr. Stand Up for Justice and, everything's got to be right and moral and that sort of thing. She's just like a messed up person who's unfortunately, in her eyes, superpowered.
Now, of course, and you could explain this better, Mike, because obviously you know much more about comics than anybody. But obviously, aren't there different iterations, different authors that come along around that change?
A lot of it depend on whether or not they were like one shots that would just suddenly show up, or whether they'd have their own book, or they would change writers. Like over time, Spider-Man changed a couple of times, or Superman changed, or Batman. Based upon whatever writer was doing it. So, that's something you just see.
Yeah, and X-Men, I think, is pretty famous for that. There's like 1,000 different X-Men origin stories, but it's not a reboot of the same X-Men. It's not like a reimagining of the same X-Men. They're kind of like in a different universe. So it's the same characters, but the way they are is just different.
The groups change over time. So like you'll see different Avengers, or you'll see different X-Men. You saw, what was it, the X-Pack, or the young kids that then moved up. And, this person died supposedly and then came back to life. And so you saw changes within groups. Even the Fantastic Four changed a little bit for a while.
Yeah. So was Supergirl always the person with the PTSD, or were there different iterations of her?
I think that's always been the basic storyline for her. But I don't know the DC as well, because I was locked into Marvel, and occasionally I'd go over to the other side and read some.
No, we should switch over to Marvel, and this is almost a year from now. It's December 18th, I believe, of 2026 with Doomsday. To me, it seems like a Hail Mary sort of situation with Marvel, because the 3 pictures they put out in 2025, it used to be $1 billion franchise. Every picture, $1 billion gross worldwide, and we've discussed this before about how much actual money they make, but when you gross $1 billion plus, you're going to make some sort of money. But how do you view this new? Is it a desperate play on Marvel's behalf to pay Robert Downey Jr.? Probably, who knows how much this guy's going to get paid, how much of the percentage he's going to get, to bring him back, to bring the Russos back, to direct them. What are your feelings about it? I mean, are you excited? I'm just kind of.
Part of it is they've gone so deep into things that like are just so side, like Kraven the Hunter, and some of the movies they've made are on people that are absolutely unimportant. It's like making a story on the backup shortstop, or the backup kicker. And so that's been a problem. And then Fantastic Four was a really good movie, but it suffered from 2 horrible movies before it. And, the idea that they would even attempt to redo that was, like, I don't even want to watch it. And then when I watched it, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. And truth be told, I really did like the versions from 2005 and 2007. The 2015 version was terrible. I mean, it really was. Despite all the talent, I mean, Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller, and I mean, they just had a great cast, but I know you're only as good as the script that's written, I guess. But I wasn't that big of a fan of Fantastic Four. I don't know. I just think that I'm so over it, which is a shame, because, unlike Mike, I mean, I've been a big fan of Marvel movie adaptations. I did read the comic books and did read some of the Iron Man stuff back in the day, which is interesting because he was sort of he wasn't the top tier, was he? I mean, Iron Man was a secondary, wasn't he?
Yeah, he didn't really sell that well as a book, and it wasn't that important. He was kind of a lesser of the Avengers versus Thor versus that whole group was kind of better together than they were individually, except for Thor.
Yeah.
Well,
And so they I guess what the reasoning that they're trying to bring the Thunderbolts, so they're trying to bring what was, I don't know, the second shelf character, second tier characters is because, we had success with the first, we're going to do this again. But I just don't know. But we do also have Spider-Man Brand New Day coming as well in July. So those I've been, the Tom Holland pictures have been pretty damn good. And the last one was spectacular, bringing all the other ones back, the other Spider-Man. So, and then of course they've had the Spider-Verse success as well. So I don't know, I guess out of, Supergirl and Avengers Doomsday and Spider-Man's probably the one that I'm looking forward to the most. The one I have the most confidence in, I guess is the best way to put it.
I mean, the Thunderbolts were more like a fourth or fifth line. They were like a double team. But, they're going to suffer from that one guy going nuts, aren't the guy from Stranger Things?
Oh, yeah, I heard about
David
that.
Harbour.
Yeah.
Is he in the Avengers?
No, he's in Thunderbolt. He's the leader of the Thunderbolts. But although, are they going to show up as the new Avengers?
What's the Thunderbolts?
Yeah, that's interesting, and I think, again, just because the movie really did hit the wall, that whole new Avengers thing that popped up at the end, that's how they deem themselves, no longer the Thunderbolts at the end of the picture. It's just, okay, the new Avengers. Are those the people that really do make up the new Avengers in the comic books? I don't know.
I think some of them did at one point, but that would have been after me, so I don't know that for sure.
Yeah. So, superhero wise, I'll keep an open mind, but again, when you look at the rest of the slate of the big pictures coming out, and of course the ones that'll be the awards worthy ones, we'll find out later in the year. But the one I think I'm looking forward to the most in early part of the year is The Bride, which is the Bride of Frankenstein, but it's kind of like a punk rock version of The Bride of Frankenstein. Maggie Gyllenhaal is directing it, and I'm trying. Jessie Buckley is her name. She is playing the bride, and then Christian Bale as the monster. Wow. That's going to be interesting. Set in the 1930s. I don't know. It's like I guess. Yeah, it is somewhat of a remake, but boy, they're really reframing this thing big time. So I'm more interested in the way they're going to go with it than excited about it actually coming out.
So I'm not really up on my Frankenstein lore. So in the Frankenstein movie, the first, like the origin story of the monster, the monster gets destroyed, right, by the townspeople.
That's the way it appears in the Boris Karloff picture, and they really didn't. He was in the windmill, and then then you found out in the Bride of Frankenstein he fell through the bottom, and Frankenstein really never dies, and if you see the new picture, you find out that he is pretty much immortal. But The Bride is actually part of that original Frankenstein novel, right? And so they kind of, the whole Universal stuff is really so different than the original source material. But I love the way that the story pans out with those pictures and the Elsa Lanchester, the best 5-minute appearance in the history of film, as far as I'm concerned. Just the impression that she left. So this is going to be different. They kind of delved into, I don't want to say if you haven't seen the new one, but they delve into the whole idea of the bride and wanting a mate and everything in the Del Toro picture. But this one, I don't know, it seems to be its own thing. So it'll be interesting. I want to see Christian, there are pictures out there of Christian Bale as Frankenstein's monster, and it's different. It's not nothing near to what you would see with the Universal stuff, because they own the copyright to that flat top bolts in the neck.
Oh, yep.
Sort of thing. But, probably closer, but really doesn't resemble at all, but closer to the Jacob Elordi Frankenstein than certainly the Boris Karloff one.
So going off of the greatest, short appearance, I'd go with Marcel Marceau in Silent Movie.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. You have to explain that one, Mike, because first of all, Does everybody know who Marcel Marceau is?
Marcel Marceau is a famous mime. So he would do all sorts of miming. And so in silent movie, he's the only one who talks.
Yeah. Yes. It's great. And silent movie, that's a Mel Brooks picture. My God, is that? I remember seeing that in the theater way back in the day. And yes, Marcel Marceau talking is a great short appearance. Another one would be Steve Martin as the psychotic dentist in the Little Shop of Horrors remake.
Oh yeah, that's right.
As well. In fact, people thought that he should have been nominated for a Supporting Actor Academy Award for that because he was that good. It's that funny. But Bill Murray, I think, is the actual patient in that one that enjoys the pain, doesn't want the Novocaine. So now I got one in April that I think Andy and Melissa and your children will eventually look forward to seeing, the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Yeah, we actually wanted to talk to you a couple things about that. So you're going to screen it, I'm assuming, before it comes out, or you're going to try?
Yeah. Oh, you want to go see it?
Well, we want to know how scary it would be for a 4-year-old before we go see it.
I don't know. I mean, if you look at the original, I didn't. That might was it PG? I mean, it's very rare that a film is rated G now. But I think judging by the first one, they're not going to go.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But
I would think it'd be okay for a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
The other question we had, so we want that to be Ethan's first movie in a theater.
Yeah.
But Ethan is insane. So what we want is we don't want the theater to be too full because it would just be like overload for him.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be too empty either because he's going to ask me all sorts of questions. He's going to say, who's that, what's that, and so forth. So he's going to be doing a lot of talking.
So what's the etiquette?
Yeah. So should we go when the theater is like half full so people are expecting that, or?
You know what? I think even in a full theater, you're going to have parents explaining to kids because you got to remember this is a multi-generational thing.
Yeah.
And it's the sort of thing that the parents want to see as badly as the kids that might not know about the game. So I don't really think there's any sort of etiquette. I mean, to me, the enjoyment of seeing movies like this in theaters, and my wife and I saw this one, again, the kids are, older than 20. They don't want to see it with their parents. And eventually I managed to get my youngest two who love Super Mario to see it when it was on streaming. But what we enjoyed was just how much the kids were loving the picture. That is so much fun to see that. And maybe in a way we're reliving what it was like for watching our kids watching these films. I don't really think that there's any sort of set rule for that. Yeah, it might be quieter and you'll hear them better if it's half full. But yeah, I think either way you're going to be fine.
No, all right then. We're thinking of doing like a matinee probably.
Yeah. Well, and I say this all the time, and this is again in order to avoid those people that want to yak on their cell phones and look at their texts and whatever during a picture. But to me, the best way to see a movie for me anyway, and it's not because I don't like big crowds, because when I see a preview screening, they're packed. But mostly because I do my reviews on Friday, I'll just go to a Thursday preview now. That's the way I do it because it's a lot closer for me. Screenings can be an hour away from me. So I'll go to the first preview screening on a Thursday and it's like an empty theater. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case for Super Mario Galaxy.
No,
but,
not
that would be the best way. If you want to see it out of the box, just right at the very, very start, check out a Thursday preview. They usually start about 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And you have till April to find that out when it's actually going to play.
Do you have till 11:45? Are you good, or do you need to go?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can chat.
Okay, cool. Because we got one more ad break to do. So I think I will hit that now, and then we will run out the clock after that.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
The salespeople at the Valley dealerships watch the traffic whizzing by. Probably to the Mall of America or a Super Target. It's the holidays. People aren't thinking about buying cars. Being sales professionals who enjoy the human interchange as much as the sale, they're edgy. They've only each other and they're tired of hearing the same jokes and stories repeated. Now, Valley has never used the word sale in its advertising. Their salespeople set their own prices. Come to a Valley store now and you have a sale, born of sheer loneliness. Want to talk about new GMCs, the Vikings quarterback situation, maybe the new Taylor Swift album? They don't care. They're salespeople, they're extroverts, they're desperately bored, and you're a new face. Just one request from Brett Paul of the Valley stores.
I'm begging. If you're working with one of my staff during the holidays, please don't ask to see any pictures of their kids. Just play fair.
Create your own holiday sale on a new Buick or GMC at a Valley store in Apple Valley or Hastings today.
We want our listeners to support local businesses, and the best way they can do that is by hearing about them first. If you're looking to spread the word about your business, we'll work with you to get what you need, whether you're looking for one spot a week or multiple a day. You can even schedule in-studio interviews for that personal touch. If you're interested or simply want to ask some more questions, go to tombernardpodcast.com and click Advertise with Us up top. We're back. We have a couple more movies to ask Tim about.
I just want to let you know that Super Mario Galaxy is a PG film.
Okay, that makes sense.
But you know what? It could be fart humor, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how they determine that leap. You know, maybe it's video game violence, you know?
Right.
I mean, which is nothing. For something like this is nothing. It's like, what?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, maybe they think Bowser's scary or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Tim, what did you think of DiCaprio's movie?
I didn't like it.
Okay. Mixed opinion. I've heard from lots of people. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I would still see it. I guess it's to me, it's overhyped. Okay. It's just way overhyped.
Which movie is this?
It's One Battle After Another. I mean, there are performances in it that are brilliant.
Del Toro and DiCaprio are in it.
Yeah, but I would say even before DiCaprio, Sean Penn.
Sean Penn. Oh, that's right. Sean Penn.
And this Chase Infinity, who plays his daughter, is really good too. I just think it's way overhyped, and I just question the whole idea of, you know, the glorifying domestic terrorism. You know, I mean, what the picture that's going on. I mean, the story that's going on. It's about, they call them revolutionaries, but you know, it's because it's set. Part of it is set during the 70s, I guess, and then it fast forwards 15 years. I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's way overhyped, and it's going to win a boatload of Oscars. I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson has done some great pictures. Boogie Nights was great. There Will Be Blood.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I could not stand. Was it Punch Drunk Love?
That was not very good. I hated Sandler in that one.
Yeah, I did too. I turned it off.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't like it at all. So, I mean, I think, but the guy's been nominated for 8, 9, 10 Oscars. And, you know, it gets to a point where, you know, let's just give it to the guy, you know? Yeah. At the same time, it's way too long, but it's inventive. I mean, there are definitely good things about it, but I just think more than anything, it's just way the hell overhyped. I think that, you know, because critics are just falling all over themselves over the thing. And I'm sure viewers, you know, and I think I probably line myself up with more of the movie fan and the viewer than I do the critic, you know, because there's this thing with critics that don't like popular stuff. I don't get that. Mm-hmm. You know, you're there to be entertained. And if the damn movie entertains you, then, hey, I'm on board with it, you know. And then just bringing up the point about the Super Mario thing. That whole experience in the theater of seeing people enjoy it, seeing that intended audience just loving it, you know, that's a great movie, you know? So I don't know. Well, you should watch it though, Mike. I think it's on HBO Max right now. So you should be able, or you can rent it on video on demand if you don't have HBO Max.
I think it was Fountainhead where Ayn Rand talked about the critics that would show how powerful they were by making good things bad and bad things good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the whole theory between you know, in doing that. But I don't know.
I interviewed John Landis 3 times over the years, and one thing he said to me was, critics are just a bunch of wannabe pissed off wannabe filmmakers.
Yeah, probably.
They're jealous.
Yeah.
Me, I don't want to be a filmmaker. I just want to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got a lot of stuff going on in my backyard. I'm not going to lose sleep whether a movie it has this message or not or whatever. Entertain me has really kind of been the whole thing. So Super Mario Galaxy, I'm sure it's going to be great. You know, people really had a problem. I don't know. Did you, Andy and Melissa, have a problem with Chris Pratt voicing Luigi?
No.
Chris Pratt was Mario. Luigi was.
Mario. Yeah, it was good. Charlie Day was Luigi.
Yeah. I don't know. It was fine. Mario's had so many different voices, and like I'm definitely a Charles Martinet diehard because you know he's been Mario my entire life. But hearing that like "Let's a Go" voice for an entire movie you would just go insane. I think.
Yeah. You would.
Hearing Charles Martinet do his like almost Mickey Mouse kind of voice.
I think the thing that we appreciated was so they brought in these new voices. They brought in all this new angle to it, but they kept all of the fun little nostalgia things alive. Like we spotted everything. Everything. You can spot it all. Even our 4-year-old, or at the time 3, when he was watching it over and over again, he saw some of the things that he has seen in games. And
everything is from a game. Like literally everything in that movie is from one of the games.
So
and that's what make people.
If you're going to get hell-bent on being mad about a voice of a character and not appreciate all the effort that they put into the whole movie, because they made it for the kids, but they made sure that our generation and even our parents' generation got what they wanted and got to see out of the movie. And that's why it was such a good film.
Yeah.
I mean, it really spoke to our generation, the younger generation, and the generation before us.
I thought that was
the reason it was successful because it is what they wanted it to be, or it was intended for, instead of reshaping it and whoever's the studio executive kind of like make it about them instead of about the audience, which is a big problem with a lot of movies.
The first Mario movie had almost nothing to do with the games.
Right.
And it was just like the fact that it was the Mario brothers was kind of like, you could have called them anything.
Yeah.
You could have called them,
You're talking about the live action one with Hoskins and Leguizamo.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with any of the games, really. Like Bowser was just like some guy with spiky hair.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. And that's why it didn't do very well, because kids were, and I remember I was a kid and I was like, a Super Mario Brothers movie, I'm going to watch this. And I was like, what in the hell is this? I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, as a kid, you were like, what? But like as a millennial adult now, I do think it was funny. Like I look back on it and it's like, it was stupid and goofy, but it wasn't. If you want Mario, like if that's what you want and that's what you're expecting, the movie the movie in 2023 is what hit the spot.
And I thought that was I thought it was a very interesting contrast with the Sonic movies, because in the Sonic movies, almost nothing is from the games. There's very little recognizable. It takes place in the real world. He literally goes to like somewhere in Idaho or wherever they are. And like, he doesn't, like the rings are warp portals now. He doesn't collect them. And it's just like, if you're a fan of the games and you watch the movie, you're going to be like, well, this isn't really exactly what I was expecting. I still think they're good. But whereas the Mario movie is basically just like, look at all this crap from the games, the Sonic movie was like, okay, here's Sonic. Now let's tell a new story about him. And it's a very different approach, and it depends on who you are, which one you're going to appreciate more.
Sure. Sometimes it's just difficult to replicate what's going on in the games. And I think the big success of Fallout, again, just having played it sparingly, is that you set it within that world and then you create the story within that world. And you can find, wow, that combination actually works for a change. So I don't know if you're watching season 2 yet, but I'm really loving it so far. But yeah, I'm not, it's kind of like the comic book thing. And I know I've told this to Mike before. I'm more of the comic book movie fan than the comic book / comic book movie fan. So
me too.
Sorts of things that it works for me because I'm not familiar with this sort of thing. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
probably a big plus. One movie I have to point out, and hopefully you've seen the trailer for this, Steven Spielberg getting back to science fiction, Disclosure Day. Have you seen the trailer for Disclosure Day yet?
Disclosure Day. No, I don't know anything about this.
It's basically saying, it's inferring that aliens are indeed walking among us, and the day is coming where it will be fully disclosed to the planet. That, and it's interesting. I mean, it's a really, it's arm's length sort of thing. I mean, it doesn't, like a lot of trailers, tell you the story, but look up the trailer for Disclosure Day, and they got a lot of good people in it. They have Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor. If you've seen, and I highly recommend this, this is another one of my favorite movies of 2025, Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. Josh O'Connor.
Oh, Knives Out. Okay.
Yeah, and he was in Knives Out. Yeah, and he was also in the movie Challengers with Zendaya 2 years ago or a year and a half ago or whatever. So he's in it. Coleman Domingo, Colin Firth. You got a great cast. It's Spielberg. And but I have a feeling that it's not going to be the E.T. phone home sorts of aliens that we're going to see in Disclosure Day. But I'm looking forward to that. And that's coming up in the middle of the year. But again, one of the very few movies that has some sort of originality going for it.
Yeah. Someone in the chat wanted to know if you have seen Is This Thing On?
Not yet. It's out in really, really limited release. But I do actually have a digital screener of it, so I will be reviewing it once it hits wide. But again, there's a guy, Bradley Cooper, who is really just trying to do something different. And I really do love that and appreciate that about him. And talking about a hard luck kid, that guy, he was nominated for like 3 different Oscars for Maestro.
Mm-hmm.
That he lost all of them. He's up to 12 nominations without an Oscar. So I don't know if this picture is going to do it for him or not. I'll have to see. He's got a supporting role in it. He directs it. He co-wrote it. But yeah, that's about it looks to me about a stand-up comedian going through marital troubles with his wife. And the stand-up is, what is his name?
It's a guy who used to be married to
Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler, yeah. And he was Arrested Development. Job. I don't remember his name.
Will Arnett.
Will Arnett. Yeah, that's right.
And Laura Dern is in it as well. And then Bradley Cooper also has a part in that. Is anybody excited? Have you seen the trailer for The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's
I've seen people talk about it.
I have the list of next year's movies pulled up, and I saw that, and I thought that looked interesting.
Most of what I've seen about it is people being upset that the costumes are not period accurate.
Not only that, what they are. Some people are comparing them to the Dark Knight attire. And that they're not, they're all shiny and new, where they should look battle worn.
Right.
Isn't that just the whole deal with the internet, though? But look, I mean, Nolan has time and again proved everybody wrong. I mean, do you remember the hate that he and Jonah, his brother, who co-wrote The Dark Knight, when they revealed the Joker?
Oh, yeah.
And boy, was everybody wrong with that one,
So,
I don't know. I mean, is he the sort of guy who shoots things practical to go back and CGI the outfits to look more worn? Or, and here's the problem with AI regeneration. I mean, people are giving, this is what the actual period looks like. These are what the outfits should look like, and have rendered the trailer in a way. And to me, maybe they are accurate, but it's jarring, the difference between what Nolan is doing and what people think it should be.
Where are they getting what it should be from? Books?
Well, because the Odyssey was written, it was a book written by Homer at a specific period.
Right.
So it would be like what Homer was imagining was what soldiers were wearing in his time in Greece.
Yeah.
But that's so based on what you see in your head on reading. It's not like there's pictures,
Right.
Well, that to me has always been the toughest part of any sort of these adaptations of whether it be a comic book or whether it be a novel or whatever, is that everybody, and I mean everybody, sees it differently.
Yeah.
So, God, I don't know. All I know is that Christopher Nolan makes great films. I'll be honest with you, though, I wasn't entirely impressed with the trailer. I don't know why, but what you do get is a sense it's going to be epic, and it should be.
Mm-hmm.
It's big, it's vast, it's but there are some casting things that he does. Some people question whether Anne Hathaway could play Selena Kyle, Catwoman, in Dark Knight Rises. I thought she was okay. I wasn't thrilled about it at first. Matt Damon, he's good in Interstellar. He's kind of like the hidden part of that whole movie, but he's great in Oppenheimer.
Right.
So, but when you see the same person over and over and over again, Tom Holland and Zendaya. I mean, 2 weeks after that picture opens, then you're going to see him in Spider-Man again.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would like to see some different sorts of casting going on, but if indeed there are stars who can open pictures, you got to go with part of who you think fits the part, but also you got to think business-wise. Okay, who's going to get people into theaters? I don't think Christopher Nolan should. He is so big that I don't think he needs to be relying on a name star to get people into movies. Because how many people honestly knew who Cillian Murphy was before Oppenheimer?
Right.
He's been around forever, and he was great. Probably they knew him from the Batman movies or something. As Scarecrow.
Avengers, wasn't he?
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. All I can say is you don't underestimate Nolan. I mean, he's just proven people wrong time and time and time again. The only disadvantage of this one is that there's no big Barbie level movie opening against it. So there's a missed marketing opportunity. There's no Barbenheimer marketing opportunity for this one. And honestly, I do think that helped that picture. Yep. It helped them both. People were actually seeing those movies back to back in theaters. My oldest daughter was one of them. Mm-hmm. It kind of just added some fun and excitement to the whole movie going experience, which, as we all know, is kind of dwindling. The audiences are dwindling. You need those sorts of events to get people excited about.
Don't you think comparably it's going somewhat back up from how bad I don't think it's right now. I don't think it's low. I think it's a little higher than it was when it was at its low.
Well, in 2020, 2021, definitely. It has to be higher than it was back then.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but at the same time, October was the worst movie, apart from the pandemic, the worst movie month in 27 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is that the telling sign? I think the telling sign might be when you used to depend on those big $1 billion blockbusters from Marvel, not breaking $1 billion anymore, not breaking $500 million anymore, grossing.
Well, Kristen actually was just talking. She said that Gen Alpha and Gen Z aren't going to see movies because of actors like millennials and Gen X and boomers do. Because, for the 35 plus crowd or 30 plus crowd or whatever, a lot of them, it's like, oh, it's got this person in it, therefore I'm going to see it. Whereas the younger people don't care so much. So it doesn't make sense for a studio to pay a guy $100 million to be in a movie, because that $100 million isn't going to actually put anyone in seats. So they might as well pick a good but unknown actor and pay him 10% as much, because it's going to give you a better ROI. Yeah,
because movie budgets are out of hand. And you can't,
absolutely.
Again, Downey, I can't even begin to think how much he's going to get. I mean, just for his part in the Spider-Man movie, which one was it? It might have been the second one. He made like $40 million. That's allegedly, reportedly. He made a lot of money, because what he gets is the back end of the ticket sales. But they also pay him gobs of money to start. And so, you're setting yourself up for failure with a movie like Doomsday. But again, Marvel is desperate now. But Is Downey the sort of guy that can open a picture because he's a movie star? Didn't help him for Dr. Dolittle, did it? Tom Cruise, yes, for Top Gun Maverick, but not so much for the Mission Impossible movies. And people say Tom Cruise is the last big movie star.
No, isn't that Chalamet? Isn't that Chalamet though, Tim?
What's that?
Don't you think that's Chalamet? Because he seems to be selling.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right, Mike. Because Marty Supreme did really well for an because that is an independent film. Chalamet has definitely got that touch right now, and certainly, I mean, because he's a great actor, he really is. I kind of thought he was overhyped, but once I saw him as Dylan, it's like, okay, you're right. I give in. I'm not afraid to admit I'm wrong, but then again, every picture is different. You might not like him in this, but in Marty Supreme, he's annoying, but that's part of the character and who he's supposed to be. It's easier for me to get behind Dylan just because, it's a whole Minnesota thing and all that. But just the fact that he learned guitar and he sounds like Dylan, oh my God, so yeah, he's probably the hottest actor going today. Probably even hotter than Cruise, because as Mission Impossible Fallout, or the Final Reckoning, showed, it made $500 million, but it also cost reportedly $400 million to make.
Just production?
What's that?
Just production or including marketing?
Just production, not including marketing.
That's real bad then.
If Alan can do something big next, the guy who played Springsteen, with what there and what he did in Shameless, I think he's got potential to be a box office hit too.
And it is a shame, for the lack of a better word. And you and I were texting about this, Mike, how phenomenal of a movie Springsteen Delivering Me from Nowhere is.
Really good.
It's a great movie. And I think part of the problem with that was people were expecting Born in the USA, and you did get that. That was a cool scene, but mostly you get he started the movie at a concert. Was it Born to Run? He finished an encore.
Right.
And then he had Born in the USA. But other than that, it was all Nebraska music, which people really, unless you're a diehard Springsteen fan, don't know. I didn't know it, but it wasn't about that. It was about the struggles that this guy was, and the whole idea of coming forth with his childhood, which was not rosy, and his struggles with depression. I thought, wow, this is a really revealing biopic. And again, if you have not seen it, highly recommend that movie. It's on premium video on demand right now of Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere. But yeah, I mean, again, every movie is different. And he certainly does have the potential, because he's a hell of an actor. There's no question.
You know why I think star power might be dying out? And I have noticed this in myself too, is because stars are everywhere now. And not even just in entertainment, I mean in real life. You go to Twitter and you can find the opinions of any A-list movie celebrity who's making $100 million a movie, and you can see his opinions. And half the time he just sounds like your drunk uncle or your grandpa who doesn't know what he's talking about. And you're like, it makes them more relatable, but in a bad way.
Yeah.
Because before they were almost like they existed on another plane of reality. They were these characters. And now it's just like, oh, this is just some guy who is good at acting. And it just like the mystery is gone.
Yes.
And I've noticed that in myself, in that for a long time, there was a lot of movies I would go see because of someone. Like my Jim Carrey and Robin Williams were like my thing forever.
Yeah.
Any movie with either of them in it. Williams died a while ago. But like Jim Carrey I liked him as Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic movies, but I wouldn't go see a movie just because of him. And a lot of it is because he has basically outed himself as a lunatic. And it's like, I don't know. It's like a movie needs to be good for me to care about him being in it.
Well, social media has been the downfall of so many people, but movie stars in particular, because again, you said the curse word, opinion. And you got to remember, and Hollywood doesn't get this, is that, people have political ideologies on both sides. So everything that you put out, they're not going to totally agree with. But just keeping the politics out of the movies, the fact that that this person is just preaching they're, preaching, whatever side they're on.
It makes it mundane. Yep.
I don't care to know that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yep. I absolutely agree.
Yeah,
all right.
So
it is 11:52, which means we've gone a whole 7 minutes over. The day is ruined, unfortunately, but
Tim Bradshaw and Brian.
Yes, you got to say, Tim brought to you by me.
Yes.
You got to say. Well, thank you again, Mike. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Melissa, Andy. Let's look forward to a great 2026. And I'll be back on Friday next week.
Yeah, Tim will be back Friday. Mike, I'm assuming you'll be back Thursday.
So
perfect. And then Melissa will be back when our kids are 18.
There you go. All right. Have a great weekend.
Take care.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Every time I hear the singing, reminds me how you talking.